my outside passion right now is helping veterans transition out of the military into civilian life. Most people don't know it, but the biggest health crisis we have in this country is veteran suicide. According to the Veterans Administration, 22 veterans a day kill themselves because they don't know how to transition into civilian life. It's a very scary thing for them. And so I've been lucky enough to meet up with a bunch of people, help a number of those people with that transition, because it's very frightening. I'm working with a guy who's a Navy SEAL, just got out of the SEAL teams, and he called me up and he goes, "John, I just had an interview, and man, if my wife would let me, I'd rejoin the SEALs right now because I'd rather be overseas in a gun battle with terrorists than have to go into a room and have another interview." And hey, I've been interviewing all my life, so you get those people and help them deal with that. But and it's fruitful. It makes you feel good. I just this week connected a ex Green Beret with a guy who had a job that had his skill set in the place where he needed to be in 6 months, and that job was going to open up in 6 months, and it's going to come together. And so you feel like, okay, I've helped this person who did something that, quite frankly, I'm thankful I didn't have to do, right? My dad was a Korean War combat veteran, and he had severe PTSD. And so I have a lot of sympathy, not just for the young men and women who go and fight in these wars and see horrible things that they should never have to see, but also their families who are as much a victim of that and as much a veteran of that as anybody else. So if we can, the one thing I would say to your audience who's listening is try to hire veterans. And it's easy to do. There's a whole program called SkillBridge that most people don't know about. But as a veteran is transitioning out of the military into civilian life, the Department of Defense, your tax dollars will pay usually up to 6 months of their salary, and they can come work for you essentially for free. And the only rule is you can't pay them extra. And then they get to make a smooth, easy transition out into the private sector, which is a very frightening thing to them, right? I mean, being in a gun battle would be very scary to me. Not to them. They're like, yeah, they would be, yeah, just get behind me. Everything will be okay. So I need to be the guy that is, yeah, get behind me. Let me help you figure out how to do a resume. Here's how you network with people. I just told a guy the other day, you got to get on LinkedIn. Well, I've never been on LinkedIn before. Well, it's not scary, but to him it was, but you got to build a network. How do you do that? I mean, the things that you and I do all the time, we connected in all these same ways. It's just outside of them because they've been in a world where, as one SEAL told me who served in Afghanistan and Iraq, the easiest job I ever had was being a Navy SEAL. And I said, how could that even be true? Right? Because you see all the movies and it looks so awful. And he says, no, they tell you when to get up, when to go to breakfast, when to go to lunch, when to go to dinner, when to go to medical, when to do this, when to do that. In average, there's been studies, the average military person makes 50 decisions for themselves a day. And people like you and I have to make over 500 for ourselves, 10 times as many decisions. And, the military doesn't train them to come out and get civilian jobs. They train them to do things in the military. And that's clearly understandable. But once you're out of the military, they kind of don't care what happens to you. And so we as a society and as business leaders and as technologists need to care. And that's the thing that I'm trying to evangelize now.